And we welcome you to Grossmont High School in gorgeous San Diego as today SportsNetUSA.net presents Golden West Rustlers football. Today, huge game for the Rustlers as the 5-4 Rustlers play a visit to the 1-8 Griffins of Grossmont. A great Saturday afternoon to you wherever you are. Rahshaun Haylock alongside Ryan Osborn. And Ryan, well, since we last talked to the Rustler listeners, Rustlers have picked up a win. They're now 5-4 on the season, as opposed to 4-5, which they were when we said goodbye last week. More on that in a moment. But that fifth win, nothing really changes in the sense of what we talked about last week, and it's win and you're in. Rustlers are able to get a win here today, and they secure a bowl berth.
Well, I mean, when you talk about that, we look at how last week ended, and it was so close for Golden West, almost taking home that sixth loss of the season. And, of course, after, as you mentioned, Fullerton ends up dropping their game technically. They end up moving to a total of 5-4 this week. If they end up coming out of here against Grossmont and just going right at the Griffins to start this game off, it's going to really help their confidence going into a possible bowl game.
Rustlers won the opening kickoff and elected to defer. So G-Dub will be putting it on the tee. Boo hits ball, and we are ready to go here from Grossmont. As it's the tailback, Jarius Burnett getting the return. He gets it near the 30-yard line to about the 27, and that's where Grossmont and their white uniforms today on sophomore day will get this afternoon started. Led by quarterback William App, 6'3", 195-pound freshman out of Houston, Texas. Completing 39% of his passes so far this season, 775 yards, 3 touchdowns, 7 interceptions on the year. He's a young man thrown into a tough position, just kind of thrusted into the lineup and forced to burn a redshirt year because of some issues that this Grossmont team had at the quarterback position. From an injury standpoint, as Burnett gets the first carry, it's a pickup of less than a yard, and it brings up second down and 11.
And you talk about that, Rahshaun. I mean, it's hard for anyone to do at the junior college level. Just kind of step in your first year in college and just, you know what, you're the starting quarterback now. But all of a sudden, when you have that mindset of, okay, I'm going to redshirt, I'm going to take snaps in practice, but all of a sudden you're thrown in, it's hard.
Here's App, and a pass caught over the middle and upended. There is the wide receiver, Matthew Linton. Big-time hit as he was airborne there on that one. Is able to pick up 10, brings up a 3rd down and 1. Ball at the 38-yard line. It's a Griffins team that gets after it old style. You see the traditional huddle. You see under center, I formation, staggered I this time, and the back unable to get anywhere. Is this going to be a loss there? That was Burnett getting the carry. Rustler defense swarming, and a loss of yards there brings up a 4th down and 3 and enter the punting unit.
It'll be 4th down and 2 for Grossmont. Back to punt number 98, Ethan Albertson.
Ethan Albertson was busy last week. He had 10 punts for this Grossmont team in their loss at Saddleback. Here's punt number 1 of the afternoon. It's a high spiral kick, but coming up and catching it at the 40-yard line on a fair catch is David Atencio. And that's where the Rustlers will start at 1st down and 10. Well, it was a heroic effort from this bunch. A team win is what the players and coaches have called it after that just phenomenal late game come-from-behind win last week down here in San Diego against Southwestern. Bo Kalbacher, 3 touchdowns, 3 interceptions, 19 of 42, 233 yards in that game, and threw the game-winning touchdown pass to Jonathan Earl with 1:04 left in the ball game. Kalbacher, 1st and 10 from the 40. He has one back, that's Valdez. They play fake and throw it quickly to the outside. Shashi Penn first down and more across midfield, and the Rustlers are in business here, Ryan Osborn.
You look at how Kalbacher started off the game last week. He went 3 for 3 on his first 3 throws, and it got him into a rhythm throughout the rest of the afternoon. His 2 touchdown passes that he had to Jonathan Earl, they were outstanding. One was floated to the far corner of the end zone. The other one, well, it was a strike into the hands of Earl.
First and 10 from the 45-yard line, and here's Kalbacher keeping it. We saw this a lot last week, Ryan, where Kalbacher was able to use his legs. He picks up 7 there on first down and brings up a short and a lot more manageable for the Rustlers.
And it helped out the passing game last week because we saw Kalbacher just kind of take it himself right up the middle 6 different times in that game, and it forced Southwestern to respect that alley right up the middle. So those linebackers had to stay back for a split second and gave Kalbacher an extra opportunity to throw.
Second and short. Ball at the 36. Kalbacher quickly delivers over the middle. Caught Atencio. Down at the 21-yard line. 17-yard pickup and a first down for the Rustlers. And another hot start for Bo Kalbacher here, as you mentioned, Ryan. But you got to finish the drive, unlike they were able to do on the opening drive last week. First and 10 from the 21. And miscommunication there as Bo runs for a huge loss. He was rolling left. He was waiting for the back to come with him. And the back went the opposite way. Tavon Valdez. So a loss of 5 on the play there for Kalbacher. That's not going to do much for the run totals. Ball at the 26-yard line. Approaching 10 to play here in this first quarter. They give it to Valdez. Valdez shifty moves to the outside. Tried to find that edge there and is able to pick up about 4 across the 25-yard line and down at the 23.
And as we mentioned earlier, anything that Golden West can pick up on the ground here in the early going is going to help out the air game later on in the afternoon, because it gives Bo Kalbacher an extra opportunity to just throw the defense off balance.
3rd and 12 for the Rustlers. Kalbacher. Pressure coming. Kalbacher pumps, trying to get away, picks up a good block there, and is able to scurry for a couple up to the 17-yard line. So Russell's going to be well shy of the first down. Brings up a 4th down and enter Jose Arredondo. Kalbacher picked up 6 there on that scurry. Here's Arredondo. He was 1 for 1 last week. Connecting on all of his point after attempts. The lefty has it blocked. Blocked by Grossmont. And it looked like it was the linebacker, Sola, who got in there. The freshman out of Morris High School. And so we're in a scoreless tie here with just over 8.5 to play in this first quarter.
And that's something huge for the second time in 2 weeks. You said it earlier. You were looking to see whether or not Golden West would be able to capitalize on their first drive after driving downfield early in the game. And for the second time in 2 weeks, they can't do so.
So here's Apt under center with 3 wide receivers, and Apt running for his life, throws this one away. And I'm not sure if this is grounding or not. I don't think he got outside the tackle box. Rustlers won a grounding. They don't get it. The ball did go beyond the line of scrimmage, but Dave Garza gives Nick Mitchell an explanation, and it looks like Coach Mitch is okay with it. So 2nd and 10. They go back to the ground game, and that Rustler defense unrelenting. Burnett not finding any room here in the early going. David Aldapa in there on the stop, along with Big Myron Iava, Kevin Miminger in there helping on the stop as well. As no gain on the play there. 3 carries, -3 yards for Burnett. One of the top rushers in the conference. Ran for 136 last week at Saddleback. Under 8 to play here first quarter. 3rd and 10. Apt throwing, and that one is nearly complete. Let's see. Yes, it's caught over there right at the sticks. That's Summers making the grab over there. 11-yard pickup and a first down for Grossmont.
Summers on that far side just got right next to the first down marker and waited for his opportunity to get or to take that football out of the air. I mean, he just sat right next to the stick for about 3 to 4 seconds.
They go back to the ground. Burnett and that Rustler defense, gangrene, can we call them that? They're in there.
I like it.
Nothing doing again. Paka Kakulidis in there. David Aldapa leading the charge as well.
No gain on the play, it'll be 2nd and 10.
So this is a Rustler defense that's going to have to contend against the run today, according to Nick Mitchell. Apt, 3-step drop, has a man on the sideline, and that pass is caught at the 40-yard line and out of bounds inside Golden West territory. Linton making the grab again, and that one goes for 20 yards and another first down for Grossmont.
Biting on the initial fake was Carlos Crawford, as Crawford thought that it was going to be a run, so he ends up taking 3 steps towards the line of scrimmage, and by the time that he turns around, Linton is already 8 yards behind him.
Quickly they go, and it's Burnett again, and quickly Burnett hits the ground. Myron Iava in there on the stop. Another pickup of a loss there for Burnett. This one time they lose 1. How about Myron Iava? It was making its rounds on Twitter, that one play he had last week where he chased down the runner from behind. The big fella was moving. Big Myron, not supposed to be able to move that fast, but he was able to do so there. And a nice stop there on first down. Here's 2nd and long. Apt rolling to his right, throwing and completing right at the 25-yard line and down at the 23. That's Tenez Davis making the grab. 17-yard pickup. And they try to go tempo here. Apt under center, quickly throws it out and incomplete. VJ Malo creating some pressure there.
Complete to number 3, Burnett. Loss of the yard on the play.
Oh, he actually caught that one. He did catch it, but it was for negative yards. Loss of 1. And we have a penalty flag coming in. Looks like a false start against
False start penalty called against Grossmont.
Grossmont. So this will move them back. So they spot the ball at the 29-yard line.
Second down and 16.
Second and 16 coming up here for Grossmont.
Rustler 29-yard line.
Under 4.5 to play first quarter. No score here from Grossmont High School. They send the receiver Stevens in motion. He lines up in the slot. App, three-step drop, throws it up. Coos Ford tracking the ball, and Coos Ford coming down with the INT. And he's going to get flagged at the end of the play. I think for taunting, it looks like. He pointed towards the sideline and had something to say, and then as he backpedaled, he said a little bit more, and that flag came in from this near sideline. But Coos Ford with the INT, picks now in 2 consecutive games for Ford. Had the clincher last week.
Unsportsmanlike conduct penalty called against Golden West.
And you look at Coos Ford's positioning on both of those picks. I mean, last week he looked terrific, but on this one he makes sure that he squares himself up to the ball, and as soon as the wide receiver turns around to take a look at when that ball is coming, he turns his head around as well and is able to get in front of it and make sure he puts 2 hands on it. Not just trying to break it up, but he gets in front of it, make sure he gets both of his hands on, and then secures the football.
Dave Garza, our white hat, Andres Gutierrez, the umpire, the head linesman, Doug Sewell, the side judge, Peter Enns, Gary Krause is the line judge, the field judge is Ryan Castillo, and the back judge is John Thur. First down and 10 for the Rustlers from their own 2-yard line. Out of their own end zone, it's Tavon Valdez, and Valdez across the 10, still on his feet, as they were unable to tackle him and get him to the turf. Valdez keeps that pile moving across the 15 now.
First down for
And at the 16, 14-yard pickup there for Tavon. And a first down for the Rustlers.
That's good to see from Tavon. That's one of the first times that we've seen him really just kind of will the pack forward since that West LA game early on in the season.
Rustlers down an offensive lineman, no Kobe Clayton. If you remember last week on the point after attempt, at the end of the game, there was a Rustler offensive lineman that went down. That was Clayton. He is done for the season. Kalbacher on a stretch play to Valdez. Valdez finds the edge, and Tavon just shy of a first down. Picks up 8 there. Brings up a second and short. So it's Adrian Montez, Jacob Beckler, Roman Neomata, who didn't play last week. He's back in the lineup at center. Genesis Ofagalilo and Spencer Blake, the right tackle. Wide receivers, Ben Ratzliff, Shashi Penn, who you heard from earlier, Mouton and Atencio. Jonathan Earl going to get a lot of run tonight, or this afternoon, I should say, as well, after those big 2 touchdowns he had last week. And they actually marked Valdez out at the 21, so it'll be a 2nd and 4. Kalbacher looking up the boundary, and he had a man and he overshot him. That was Penn he was looking for.
That's not something that we saw too much from Kalbacher last week, as he was able to really just connect with his wide receivers on a dime throughout the entire first half.
So a 3rd and 4 from the 21. Kalbacher at the line of scrimmage with 4 wide receivers. He has 1 back with him. That's Swain. Kalbacher looking, finds Atencio, who turns it upfield. Got out of the grasp of 1 across the 30-yard line and out at the 32. 11-yard pickup and a first down for the Rustlers. So Atencio with a couple of grabs here. Just over 2 to play in this first quarter. No score. Rahshaun, Haylock, Ryan Osborn here with you. Golden West football on SportsNetUSA.net. From sunny San Diego. Quick pass out to the near side. That's Atencio one more time, and David getting active here in the early going. His third catch of this first quarter. That one goes for 5, and it's a second down for the Rustlers.
Second down and 6 for the Rustlers.
We'll get you the Grossmont starters in just a moment. Second down here. Kalbacher looking to change the play. This is the Grossmont team showing blitz. They will blitz it a lot. Kalbacher, the pitch away from the blitz. Swain with some room. Swain with a spin in the secondary. And down at the 45-yard line. There is a flag on the play, though. Back at the 37-yard line. It looks like this one going to go against the Rustlers.
Holding penalty called against.
Hold against Golden West. Up front for Grossmont, Kyle Caliver, Mays Massot, Kyrie Woods, and Deshelle Johnson. The linebackers, Blake Jarrell, Bryson Collins, Darian Williams, Preston Piltoff, Andrew Lira. The corners, Derek Sutherland and Brandon Philo at the safety spot. We'll see Deshae Wade in there as well, wearing uniform number 46 in white. Second and long. Kalbacher throwing it high for Earl. Well out of his reach, and that's going to be a third and long coming up.
Just moments ago, you mentioned Deshelle Johnson, and he was the one who provided the pressure right in front of the face of Kalbacher, and it seemed like Kalbacher just couldn't see over top of Johnson to get it to his wide receiver Earl, so he just kind of overcorrected, we'll say, in his mind, and so when he tossed it off to the side, it ended up going too high for Earl.
And if you're watching at home, you may see a number 88 on that defensive line for Grossmont. He's number 19 on your roster, Kyle Caliver. So 19 is now 88 for Grossmont. Made the number swap prior to kickoff this afternoon. The sophomore out of Cathedral Catholic right here in San Diego. Under a minute to play in this first quarter. 3rd and 15. Ball at the Rustler 27. Kalbacher firing. Atencio turns it inside. Atencio down at the 40, but he's going to be a couple yards shy of the first down. Needed 15, got 13 there. And a fourth down coming up for the Rustlers. And enter the punting unit.
Well, you're starting to get this sense from both of these two squads that the first team who gets on the board, whether it be by field goal or by touchdown, it's going to be crucial for the rhythm of either side.
Low snap. Fisher handles it and boots it away. Lira calling for a fair catch, and he makes it at the 19-yard line. Nice job by Fisher. I can't count how many times he's been able to handle bad snaps and get off good kicks so far this year. He's been phenomenal at doing that.
It's great when you mention what you talked about last week and the fact that he kind of came in late and yet still was able to make such an impact throughout this entire season.
It's been really one of the more unsung heroes of this team this year. In fact, Nick Mitchell, if you're with us last week, we shared with you, Coach Mitch thinks he's actually been one of the more surprising players on the team this year. They set up a screen, a middle screen there, and pass is caught across the 25 and to the 27-yard line.
Ball complete to number 99, Veenstra.
And I thought that was number 99.
Ladies and gentlemen, the California Community College Athletic
It is number
Association
99. That's Veenstra.
all games throughout this event.
Veenstra listed as a defensive end, sophomore bounce back from Wyoming.
Strongly
out of Selma, Alabama, as that play takes us to the end of the first quarter. So after one, Golden West nothing, Grossmont nothing, as you're watching Golden West Rustler football right here on SportsNetUSA.net. Don't forget, Rustler football right here on your home of the Rustler, SportsNetUSA.net, is brought to you in part by Miller Toyota of Anaheim, where service and parts is open 24 days a week for your convenience. Located at the web, MillerToyotaofAnaheim.com, and also at the 91 and Euclid. Miller Toyota of Anaheim supports community college sports and education. I was thrown off a bit because of the uniform number. I thought my eyes were deceiving me. I was like, there's no way that 99's catching the ball, but it's 50 through 79 at the college level that aren't allowed to catch passes unless they, call themselves eligible. It's 50 through 79. So I had a little bit of a brain freeze there for a second, Ryan Osborn.
It happens to the best of us, and I mean, you're the franchise, so you are the best of us.
I beg to differ, my friend, but you're far too kind. That was 8 yards on the pickup by the aforementioned number 99, Veenstra. That's now the 5th different receiver Apt has thrown to. They switch fields, 2nd down and 2, and the first positive yardage in the ground game for Burnett here this afternoon, as he gets the first down and a little bit more. Picked up 5 there.
We have a SportsNetUSA.net scoring update over at Fullerton College. It's 21-6 Fullerton going towards the end of the first quarter. Mount Sac started off the game with a kick return for a touchdown.
Similar to what I saw last night at the high school level, a couple punt returns for a touchdown. Bosco going up early before San Clemente could get on the board, and before the Bosco offense could even touch the field, as Grossmont goes to the ground again. 2-yard pickup there. That was Shipman getting the carry there. Fabian Shipman the third. Apt throws it. Nice catch behind, and reaching back for that one was Summers. And so Summers picks up 7, and it's going to be a 3rd down and 1.
When you take a look at that catch, I mean, it looked like Summers didn't even pick up the ball until it was maybe 3 to 4 feet away from him, because he made a last-second adjustment. He was looking upfield, turned back to where the football should be, spotted it, and then immediately turned his shoulder to catch it.
Full house backfield. They go to the ground. Burnett with a burst. Burnett into the secondary, and Kramer holding on for dear life, able to get him down to the turf inside of Rustler territory. Ball at the 43-yard line. 16 yards on the carry. His longest run of the afternoon. That puts him in the positive yardage on the afternoon. Apt, 3-step drop, delivers, pass caught. Coos Ford is there to make the stop immediately. Pickup of 3 as Linton makes the grab. Tell you what, App doesn't look like a 39% passer. I mean, he's delivering the ball oftentimes on time. He's 8 of 10 for 75 yards. Did throw that interception, however. 2nd and 7 from the 40. App throwing it under pressure. App completes it for a Grossmont touchdown. Linton from 40 yards out, and Grossmont strikes first.
You were just saying how he doesn't look like a 39% completion rate type of guy. That was a beautiful strike thrown right up the middle as he steps forward inside the pocket to elude the pressure and yet still gets that one away with a hand on his shoulder.
Extra point is up, and it is good. So Grossmont goes up 7-0. And I beg your pardon, that was Summers on the touchdown reception, not Linton. So it was 1, not 11. Nonetheless, Grossmont with the early lead here, with 12:05 to play in this first half. Well, I don't know if that's necessarily the recipe if you're Nick Mitchell and company. Certainly didn't want things shaking out the way that they have so far. Grossmont taking an early lead here. Listen, you're fighting for your bowl lives, and you're going up against a team that literally has nothing to play for. They're 1-8 on the year. Playing for pride, you know, if that. But they have an opportunity to be spoilers here, and you give a team a chance early. You give them some momentum early. Something to kind of hang their hat on. Could potentially prove problematic. Let's see how the Rustlers respond. There's a squib kick here, taken by the Rustlers at the 30-yard line. And a flag thrown some 20 yards from one side of the 50 to the other. All right, I'm calling it. There needs to be some sort of made-for-TV special, right? A competition amongst referees, a flag-tossing competition. It's going to be a hold called against Golden West. Some sort of referee obstacle course, right? And part of it is flag tossing. Some of these guys can chuck it.
Well, if you remember last week, Rahshaun, in that first quarter, we had a guy who tossed it 25 yards downfield.
I do remember, and that's kind of, and after seeing this one that went 20, that's kind of how I drew the conclusion that I drew. I think it's time, Ryan. We need to start pushing this forward. Just under 12 to play here in this first half.
Have you and Ed Hockley on the call?
Me and Ed Hockley. That'll work. Although I'm partial to my man Bill Vinovich. Kalbacher keeps it and throws it incomplete. Looking for Penn. Everybody in the building thought it was going to Swain on the read there, but Kalbacher electing to throw it.
When you say that, Rahshaun, the entire defensive line for Grossmont was well off to the right-hand side because they were biting on that fake that it was going to be sent out to the right.
Kalbacher actually could have ran that one. 2nd down and 10 from the 27. Kalbacher quickly outside. Atencio has some nice blocking. Atencio trying to turn the corner and gets out of bounds across the 35-yard line and out at the 36. 9-yard pickup and a 3rd and 1 coming up. So far, it's been Kalbacher and Atencio. Shashi Penn has 1 catch for 14 yards. But the rest of the completions have gone to Atencio, who now has 5 grabs for 55.
Rahshaun, are you getting this feeling that when you look at Earl and Atencio, it seems like when Golden West needs some short yardage, they go to Atencio. When they need that long bomb, they find Jonathan Earl over the last 3 weeks.
It certainly seemed that way. And it's funny because I talked to John Shipp about that before the game. And it's funny that you mentioned that. Here's 3rd and 1 play. Kalbacher quickly outside. Atencio, there you go. Ryan Osborn calling it. Looking at John Shipp's play sheet prior to this game, Ryan Osborn, a 1st down for Atencio. A pickup of 4 there. But it's funny, and I didn't ask him that question per se, but just asked him about Bo and you know, just some of the reads that he makes and everything. And he and Ratcliffe have really built a rapport throughout the course of the year. And Ship says sometimes he has to kind of guard against that. It's good to see him finding Atencio here. Kalbacher, that is. Quickly to the outside, and the catch is made on that far sideline. And across the 45-yard line, shy of midfield. Griffins holding on for dear life there. Trying to get the Rustler down to the turf, and that was Penn. No, that was Mouton, I beg your pardon. Braylon Mouton picking up 4 there. So Mouton, the first wide receiver not named Shashi Penn or David Atencio to make a grab here today. And Mouton made his return to the lineup last week after missing some time with injury. Second and 6. Kalbacher with time, lets it fly. Kalbacher running under it is Mouton, and he's got it inside the 10, a first down for Golden West.
Just when you said Mouton had gotten back into the game, I mean, we saw him last week on the first series of the afternoon against Southwestern. He had 3 different catches for over 36 yards. Now this one is a deep bomb back to Mouton, and he has this ability to just figure out where Bo Kalbacher wants to throw the football and just finds himself in those pockets.
45-yard pickup, first and goal, Rustlers at the 10. Swain is the back. He gets the carry. Swain trying to find the edge, cuts it back. Oh, what a cut by Swain, who finds the end zone. Touchdown, Rustlers.
Swain, touchdown, Golden West.
So an answer from this Golden West offense as Swain gets his first carry of the game, and he takes it to the house from 10 yards out. And Golden West a PAT away from tying this one up. How about that cutback, though, Ryan Osborn?
And it's a great one because he does it on his off foot. When you look at Swain, if you're able to go back and check it out later on sportsnetusa.net's archive, you can check out the fact that he did it on his off foot. He planted with his right while making that cut and then goes back in towards the middle and finds himself with an easy lane to run through. That's something that you don't necessarily see at the junior college level too often. Guys normally like to plant both of their feet and then try and square their shoulders to where they want to run to. But they're just some special guys who are able to make that off-foot cut, and it makes them extra lethal.
So after a scoreless first quarter, each team has found the end zone here in the second, and we're all knotted at 7 apiece. 9:27 left in this first half. Rahshaun Haylock, Ryan Osborn here with you. Game 10 of this season for the Golden West Rustlers. A win and they're in. It's just that simple. Fighting for their bowl lives here today. A short kick taken at the 18-yard line by one of the upmen there for Grossmont, and getting it out of bounds is Robert Romero.
We're going to have a flag well after the play because the Golden West Rustler is down on that far side. Looked like there was some late contact in between both teams on that far sideline.
There is a Rustler down. Can't quite see who it is from here. But he's being attended to out of bounds behind the sticks. And it looks like that's Jawan Starks. So the penalty, as you mentioned, Ryan, going to go against Grossmont. So this will move them back. And the Griffins will start it deep in their own territory. Coming up at the half, it'll be the Ryan Osborn Show. We'll go over the latest sportsnetusa.net community college football poll. Get you caught up on some of the rest of the scores around the SCFA, and then we'll get you some stats and analysis coming up at the half. Still 9 minutes and some change left in this second quarter. Apt, pressure collapsing. Apt able to escape a Houdiniac by the Texas native, and Apt up the sideline. Apt continues to stay on his feet. Tripped up inside Rustler territory at the 32-yard line.
That can be absolutely deflating for a defense, knowing that you're going to get that penalty, hem them deep inside their own territory. Then all it takes is one QB scramble on that far side. You were talking about his awareness in this game. He didn't look like a 39% completion rate guy. Well, all of a sudden, he's looking like one of the better quarterbacks in this conference in this first half against Golden West.
And that run went for 55 yards. His first run of the game looked good doing so. They go to the ground again and not nearly as much. A pickup of 2 there by Burnett.
Second down and 8.
I mean, it was unreal. What a run there by Apt. Apt. And nearly picked off by Ryan Raines.
It'll be 3rd and 8 for Grossmont.
If it was a week ago, he'd have taken that to the house. Last Saturday night was his night, I'll tell you. I mean, Ryan Raines winning Defensive Player of the Week accolades and also Special Teams Player of the Week accolades for the Rustlers.
I mean, that's what happens when you're able to get a forced fumble, a fumble recovery, multiple tackles, multiple pass breakups. I mean, he had the game of his life against Southwestern.
Apt looking end zone. Caught. It's another touchdown for the Griffins. That's Ernest Davis.
Number 18, Ernest Davis.
Able to find some space in the back of the end zone.
Touchdown reception.
30 yards. And Grossmont back in front.
And it's good with 7:55 left to go in the first half. Grossmont takes a 14-7 lead.
Apt has just looked absolutely terrific in this one. Again, he steps into the pocket to get away from pressure. It looked like Golden West had him about 5 yards deep for a sack, but instead he steps right in front of that pressure by Golden West. The Rustlers overrun him, and all of a sudden Apt has a clear lane to toss it into the end zone.
It's down to 6 different receivers that has caught a pass here. For Grossmont. That time it was Ernest Davis. Here's another pooch kick. This one taken over the shoulder. Not finding much room. It's Chris Figueredo, the linebacker, and one of the up men here on kickoff return for the Rustlers. So 7:50 left in this first half, and Rustlers find themselves in a game. Yeah, and be not surprised. This is a Grossmont team that played Saddleback really tough last week. Really all the way up until the fourth quarter. They went into that fourth quarter down by just 1. Got outscored 17-6 in the fourth. The Saddleback was able to open things up a little bit in order to win that one 45-30. Game played up in Mission Viejo High School last week, but it's a team that's going to fight. They're getting that amoeba defense. Quick pass to the outside by Kalbacher. It's caught over there, but that Griffin defense is able to converge right at the 35-yard line. Now Sashi Penn making the catch. Pickup of 3. I got to shout out Sashi Penn. And Ryan, as you know, after that at the end of that game last week, the throat was hurting a little bit. Had to stop and get some tea nearby from Southwestern. Went right across the street. And in there was Penn, and he had some nice words to say. And talked to him on the field before the game. Is right on cue. Here's Shashi once again, a first down and more. 45-yard line.
Tackle made by number 9.
Pickup of 9, his third grab of the afternoon. Shashi had some great things to say. Says he actually listens to our broadcast, Ryan. So that
There we go.
it's kind of warmed the heart a little bit.
10 for Golden West on their own 45-yard line.
So it's good to be able to talk to Shashi a little bit before the game. The freshman out of Ashland, Oregon. What a great year he's had, right? Especially early on, kind of cooled off a little bit, but you'd argue he was one of the best he was the best receiver for the Rustlers through the first half of the season, as Kalbacher completes another one in the flat.
Well, I think you don't have to look any further than game number 1 against Fullerton College, who at the time was ranked number 1 in the nation. And Penn just kind of sliced and diced their entire defensive backing core. And really, Fullerton College had no response to what Penn was doing all afternoon. Both him and Kalbacher were on the same page, in sync, and I saw it in practice the next week. Fullerton really paid for the fact that they let Penn be so wide open all game.
Kalbacher finds Penn again, and a nice sliding catch. Shashi had to go backwards to get that one. 16 yards. And a first down for the Rustlers inside Grossmont territory. Yes, Shashi came out of the gates just blazing. Approaching 5.5 to play in this first quarter. Kalbacher. Maxwell catches. Maxwell has a block. Finds the edge, and Darius Maxwell out of bounds at the 25-yard line. 14-yard pickup for D-Max, his first grab of the game.
First down for Golden West. Ball at the Grossmont 25-yard line.
It's one thing that's been a point of emphasis. Talking to John Shipp, he said, we got to get the ball out quickly against this defense. If we can do so, we might be able to have some success. Kalbacher rolling, throwing it on the run, hit as he throws, as he just tried to throw that one away, but the pressure was coming quickly. Breathing down his neck was Bryson Collins there, the freshman out of San Diego Madison High School.
You see how Bo has matured throughout the entire season. He had one play in that Fullerton game all the way at the beginning of the year where he would have kept that ball. He would have tried to extend the play as long as possible. But on this one, he's able to calm himself down and just throw it out of bounds and allow his team to regroup at 2nd and 10.
4:51 left. 2nd and 10. Bo with time. Bo looking, and what a throw! Puts it right there for Atencio, who makes the grab at the 5-yard line. 20-yard strike on a little corner route there. And 1st and goal coming up.
That football landed in between 3 different Grossmont Griffins. I mean, the window was minuscule at best, and yet he was able to just float it in.
The only person who could catch that one was Atencio there. Tremendous throw by Bo. 1st and goal from the 5. They hand it off. A short pickup there of 1. And Swain shaken up after that run, favoring his right arm. Calls for a sub.
That's something that we saw from Dante last week as well.
So they bring in that heavy package. Wolf Retzlaff the deep back, VJ Malo, the fullback. They toss it to Ratzliff, who mishandled the toss. Fortunately was able to hold on as Collins got there to him. Also Darian Williams, the freshman of Otay Ranch, getting there as well. And a loss on that play for the Rustlers. Third and goal coming up.
And that's the only hole with the heavy packages, the fact that the defense knows exactly what you're going to do on the play. So you have to make sure that you set your blocks and you lead that back guy.
Same formation. Second and goal from the 5. Kalbacher fakes the toss, throws it back, has a man wide open. R.J. Sylvester, touchdown, Rustlers.
Touchdown, Golden West.
First touchdown of the season for R.J. And the Rustlers within an extra point of tying this game up again. 5-yard strike from Boda R.J.
You love the misdirection there by John Shipp as he sends Retzlaff on that far side. And everyone defensively for Grossmont was paying attention to Ben. And since they were sneaking over towards Ben, they tried to cover Bo as well as he rolled out to his right. And everybody allowed for Sylvester to sneak in backdoor on the left-hand side.
So Dave Garza going to have some words with Nick Mitchell. I would imagine that means this penalty is against Grossmont. Going to be offside against Grossmont. And Rustlers will decline it. So Trevino will hold it. The lefty Orredondo in to attempt the point after. Kick is true. So tied up again, Ryan Osborn. 14-14 here from Grossmont High School, as the Rustlers have come back to tie this one twice so far here in this first half, playing for their bowl lives. And while we have a moment, let's remind you that Sportsnet on Golden West Rustler football on SportsNetUSA.net is brought to you in part by Miller Toyota of Anaheim. They got all kind of deals: used car deals, new car deals, military discounts. Go in there and holler at the fine folks at Miller Toyota of Anaheim, located at the 91 and Euclid, or on the web at MillerToyotaofAnaheim.com. Miller Toyota of Anaheim supports community college sports and education. Fisher will put it on the tee. And they try a little pooch kick. And a nice over-the-shoulder grab on the bounce there made by Grossmont. It was a nifty play there by the upman Jordan. Anthony Jordan making that one.
We have a quick announcement to make here on SportsNetUSA.net. The LA Valley game, which was scheduled to begin at 6 p.m. tonight here on SportsNetUSA.net, has been canceled due to air quality concerns.
Yeah, of course our thoughts and prayers are with all of those in the Thousand Oaks area affected by the senseless shooting earlier in the week, and then of course those dealing with the fires in that area and surrounding areas as well, and that of course leading to some of those air quality issues, allowing them not to play that game at Valley tonight. Screen set up. Here is Burnett. Ball's out. Ball's out. Rustlers say they have it. There's a flag on the play, however, but the Rustlers say they have it. Another flag on the play. I think whoever recovered that fumble didn't see it, must have tossed the ball, heaved it some 20 yards downfield. That drew the second flag from Dave Garza, a white hat, but another flag came in before that. So let's see. It was a screen pass for 6 yards. And the fumble after. Let's see if all of that stands or what. Garza and his crew trying to decide what's what as we speak. Offense is coming off the field. Looks like this is going to stay. So it's an eligible downfield against Grossmont, declined. Dead ball, delay of game against the Rustlers. So it'll be Rustler football. But that's 2 turnovers forced by these Rustlers here today.
And that's something that has really pained Golden West College all season long, is the fact that they haven't been able to take the ball away from their opponents, and yet here this afternoon they start off by getting 2 takeaways in the first half.
That's something Burnett will do. He'll put the ball on the ground. That's his 5th fumble of the year, 4th one that he's lost. Here's Kalbacher on first down, finds Wright at the 45-yard line, a pickup of 5 as Rustlers quickly into Grossmont territory.
So scheduling update really quickly here on sportsnetusa.net. The 2 games currently taking place right now at 1 p.m., or that started at 1 p.m. Golden West and Grossmont, and then Fullerton taking on Mount Sac in Yorba Linda. That means our only afternoon game of this afternoon is East LA in their final home game against Moore Park.
Approaching 2 minutes to play here in this first half. 2nd and 5 from the Grossmont 45. Kalbacher escaping. Kalbacher hit from behind. He's going to be shy of the first down marker. Caliver making the stop. And a brand new uniform number this afternoon, the sophomore at Cathedral Catholic. Wearing number 88 today instead of his normal 99. Bo picked up 3 there on that carry. 3rd and 2. Ball at the 42. Handoff. Valdez, 2nd level. Tavon splits 2 down at the 20. Big time run by the kid out of Alpharetta, Georgia. And a first down for the Rustlers.
Goes to 10 for Golden West at the Grossmont 19-yard line.
23 yards, longest run of the game for Tavon. He's now got 46 yards on 4 carries. Valdez toting that thing. Under a minute to play here in this first half. Kalbacher on 1st and 10. Up the seam, deflected and picked off. Intercepted right at the goal line. That was Lira, the corner, making the interception, but there was a Griffin down on the play.
And that's
It's kind of the good and the bad what you get with Bo, right? We talked about it earlier, fitting the ball through some tight windows. That's another tight window. Trusted his arm there, tried to fit it through, and got deflected and picked off on a tip drill.
And that's a ball, if you're Bo, you have to have back. I mean, he throws it right down the middle of the field, right behind his receiver, 3 different Grossmont Griffins. So that's not really one that you're going to have a high safety level on. So as soon as that ball gets tipped, I mean, the odds of it actually getting picked by the Griffins, it was pretty high. For Bo, I mean, you're giving up that football with only 47 seconds left to go.
Huge, huge, because if you remember, the Rustlers deferred to the second half, so they'll get the second half kickoff. It's been an opportunity to get some points here and then potentially some more points on the opening drive of the second half. The injured Griffin was Bryson Collins, able to walk off under his own pressure. Collins has been active this afternoon. So 2 turnovers for Grossmont, 1 for the Rustlers. The Rustlers turned that last Grossmont turnover into a turnover of their own. And on first down, Grossmont runs it right up the middle for a pick of 4 up to the 10-yard line.
gain of 5 on the play. It'll be 2nd down and 5.
Shipman still in there at tailback, picks up 5. That one batted in front of App, deflected, and down. Big Myron Iava looked like he got his big paw on that one.
3rd down and 5 for Grossmont.
3rd and 5 coming up for Grossmont. Interesting that they would run there, or try to throw there. Thought for sure they would try to run it.
They're pinned inside their own 10-yard line. I mean, I'm with you, Rahshaun. This is an opportunity for them to just kind of run out the clock. You don't want to risk Golden West with another takeaway.
App on the draw. They give it to Shipman, and he gets enough for a 1st down.
Shipman 3rd. Check that, 26.
That's going to be up to the 23-yard line, make it 24. And a timeout on the field.
According to
25.
the man who runs everything here on SportsNetUSA.net, 2 more games are canceled. L.A. Pierce and Santa Barbara for the same reason, and then Santa Rosa and Diablo Valley as well.
Santa Rosa, really?
Mm-hmm.
Where was that Santa Barbara game? Is that at Santa Barbara, or
I believe that was at Santa Barbara.
at Pierce? Oh, at Santa Barbara. I mean, either way, if it's in Santa Barbara, there's a lot of freeway closures, so you would have to get through all of that to get to Santa Barbara. If you're Pierce, or vice versa, if you're Santa Barbara, you have to come down and get through all of that to get to Woodland Hills. So,
Or excuse me, Santa Monica.
oh, Santa Monica.
So it's L.A. Pierce, Santa Monica. And that would have been at Santa Monica.
Oh, wow. Here's Apt on 1st and 10, delivers it past, caught at the 35-yard line. That's Linton. 11-yard pickup, and another timeout taken by Grossmont. "11 seconds left." You wonder when the big play is going to come here from Grossmont. They're burning these timeouts as if they're trying to get some points out of this. Michael Jordan in his 13th year as the head coach here at Grossmont. Prior to that, spent 16 seasons as the OC. Grossmont guy through and through, former ball boy here. His dad, Dave Jordan, was the head coach. Grossmont suffered a huge loss with the passing of Dave earlier this season. They're wearing the DJ decals on their helmets. As Apt is going to go down. Myron Iava there on the sack. And Michael Jordan elects just to take it in at the half as time expires. So 14-14 our score here from Grossmont High School, where the Griffins are calling their home this season, having some renovations done to their on-campus stadium. And they've played the majority of their games here this season, their home games, that is. There was one home game that was not played here. It was played at another neighboring high school, but Grossmont High School has been their home for this season. But the end of this first half, Ryan Osborn, and huge turnover there at the end of the first half for the Rustlers. Figured maybe that's a momentum changing sort of play there when you recover that fumble. Nice drive put together, but then an interception right at the doorstep.
Yeah, it's demoralizing because you know that you left those points off the table. Earlier you mentioned it. Golden West is going to get the football coming out of halftime, which means that they left points on the table here at the end of the first half. And I mean, with 47.5 seconds left to go and the way that Golden West had been running the ball, maybe you look more for a ground attack in that situation, but I mean, for Bo, that's also on the flip side where if you're Bo Kalbacher, you can't make that type of throw right down the middle of the field and just, I mean, not just slightly overshoot your guy, but just way over the head of your receiver.
Tough play, tough one to handle for the Rustlers, but still a lot of time in this one. A lot to be settled here in this one as well, as we're all tied up at the half. Golden West 14, Grossmont 14. We'll step aside. Coming up on the other side of the break, it's the Ryan Osborn Show. He'll unveil the latest and greatest SportsNetUSA.net Community College Football poll, as well as get you caught up on some of the scores, as well as cancellations or postponements of games throughout the SCFA as well. That coming up next as you're watching Golden West Rustler football right here on SportsNetUSA.net. Halftime here at Grossmont High School. Both teams making their way back onto the field. Let's go over some first half stats for you. Bo Kalbacher, 15 of 19, 171 yards. Also threw a touchdown in that first half and an interception. That touchdown went to R.J. Sylvester. David Atencio, the high man, with 7 grabs for 79 yards. Penn had 4 catches, Mouton 2, Maxwell Sylvester and Wright had 1 apiece. Tavon Valdez, 46 yards on the ground on 4 carries. As for Apt and this Grossmont offense, they looked really good. Apt did a good job of being able to sling the ball around. Completed 12 of his 15 passes, a couple of touchdowns, and 1 interception, 162 yards through the air. Shipman III had 31 yards on the ground, and Burnett had 25 yards on the ground on 9 carries. Rustlers did a pretty good job of bottling him up. Linton with 4 grabs for 44 yards. Summers, 3 grabs for 58 yards and a touchdown. And Davis had a touchdown as well. Ernest Davis had the touchdown for 30 yards for this Grossmont football team. Ryan Osborn, as Golden West gets ready to receive this second half kickoff. Want to get your thoughts on, it's another pooch kick here, and taken once again by the Upman. It's Ramsey Al Sherman, however, at the 35, and Al Sherman gets it back up to the 45. And Ryan, your thoughts on how these Rustlers can try to clinch this bowl berth?
Well, I think one thing that we saw last week is, yeah, Golden West made a couple of mistakes, one of them being by Bo Kalbacher. And in this first half, it was the same thing. Bo Kalbacher led them to the 2 scores, but he also commits that one big-time mistake. If you're Golden West, the way that you get to the postseason is on the right arm of Bo Kalbacher. Allow him to progress through his reads and try and get you down the field.
Kalbacher hands it off. They try the left side to Valdez, and he picks up 3 on first down and 10. Brings up a 2nd and 7.
Tackle made by number 45, solo number 43, Blake Jarrell. 3 on the play, but he's 2nd down and 7.
Second and 7 for the Rustlers at their own 47-yard line. Valdez gets it again. Valdez, a nice move to the outside. Tavon Valdez up this near sideline and unable to keep it straight. Otherwise, he had some green in front of him. Steps out of bounds, however, at the 40-yard line of Grossmont. 18-yard pickup for Tavon. He's running the ball well this afternoon. Ball at the 39 of Grossmont. Play fake. Kalbacher looking and finds Penn at the 35-yard line. 4-yard pickup. And check that. That's actually Ben Ratzliff. Haven't called his name this afternoon. First grab of the afternoon for Ben Ratzliff. He picks up 4. And it's a 2nd and 6 coming up. Go to the ground one more time. Valdez trying to bounce it out. And gets to the 31-yard line. So another 4-yard gain. And a 3rd down and 2 coming up.
Valdez ran about 35 yards to the other side to pick up 3, maybe 2.
Just underway here in this second half. All tied up between the Rustlers and the Griffins right here on SportsNetUSA.net. Valdez once again the deep back. Kalbacher out the pistol, gives it to Davon on 3rd down. And they're not going to give him the line to gain. He needed 2. He got about 1.5, Ryan, up to the 30-yard line. Decision time here for Nick Mitchell.
I think if you're Coach Mitchell, you want to take a good look at actually going for it here on 4th down. As you said, it's about maybe a yard and a little bit. But if you, well, he's going to go for it.
Kalbacher off the pistol. They go to the ground one more time, and this should be enough for the 1st down. I mean, that Grossmont defense stood tall, though, as it was Swain getting the carry there, and he might have got just enough. Good to see Swain, and he left the game earlier with an apparent arm injury. And no, wow, they say he's short.
That is one puzzling spot, because it looked like he was at the 38-yard line and then got pushed back.
Wow.
They didn't go to a measurement either.
Which is interesting. Play that close, you would think they would go to a measurement. But they did not. So a turnover on downs here for the Rustlers. And App will go back to work here. 1st and 10 from his own 29. They go to the ground, Burnett. And Burnett gets it up to the 35-yard line. And nice tackle there. Looked like Kramer coming up from his safety spot, able to hold on. Nonetheless, it's going to be a hold against Grossmont. And so this one will come back.
It'll be 1st down and 20 for the Griffins.
1st and 20 coming up for Apt and company. 3-step drop over the middle, caught. That's Summers once again making the grab. He gets 4. 2nd and 16 coming up. It's one thing the Rustlers defense can try to do, make them play from behind the sticks, but App's been really good in the passing game. Here he is once again on 2nd and long, airmails this one, and that one deflected by Carlos Crawford here on the near sideline.
3rd down and 16.
So a 3rd and long coming up. Linton, the intended wide receiver there.
You were talking about some number changes prior to the game. Now we're going to see ourselves have a little bit more of a change here coming up.
We're told Kyrie Woods The defensive lineman is now 48. He had his jersey rip in the first half. And apt on third down, incomplete. So in comes the punting unit. So a 3 and out here, forced by the Rustlers on the opening drive defensively of this half. And so Grossmont will be forced to kick it away.
Yeah, it's something small with that little jersey rip that you have to change your number, but it's like now that you have the ability with new time college athletics and you have these apparel deals, you have Nike, Adidas, whatever company providing you with stuff. Back in the day, you would play with a jersey rip.
This is true. Here's the punt, end over end. Atencio, we're gonna watch it bounce, and it takes an incredible Grossmont bounce. Atencio never really got a good read on that thing. And it was more of a line drive kick, didn't hang up in the air forever, but a big time kick there.
64 yards.
Downed inside the 10 at the 7-yard line.
68-yard punt.
It's Ethan Albertson who does the punting and kicking duties here for this Grossmont team. 10th time this year he's pinned an opponent inside their own 20. This time inside the Rustlers' own 10-yard line. So Kalbacher and the offense will go back to work, 1st and 10 from their own 7-yard line. He has Valdez behind him. Play fake, looking over the middle and caught. Thought he was looking for Penn up the seam, but instead it was Atencio shorter. Atencio makes the grab and down at the 16-yard line.
By number 54, Anthony Jordan. 2nd down and 1.
Second and 1 coming up. From the 16-yard line. They go to the ground, and Tavon finding the edge. Valdez on the outside, and a late hit, and a couple of flags come in as Tavon pushed late. And that wakes up the Golden West sideline. Be a 19-yard gain on the run, and you can add 15 to that.
Personal foul called against Grossmont.
And those are some dangerous plays on that sideline when you know that a runner is clearly out of bounds and yet you still put wood on him.
Golden West has the ball, 1st and 10.
I mean,
42-yard line.
You already see one rule with a defenseless receiver. That's almost the same type of thing. The runner is expecting that he's safe as soon as he gets out of play.
Kalbacher. And this one airmails out of bounds.
Pressure on the play by number 45, Anthony Sola. 2nd down and 10. Golden West.
Approaching 9.5 to play here in this 3rd quarter. 2nd down and 10 for the Rustlers. From the 42-yard line, Kalbacher, Mouton on a slant. Nice catch by Braylon Mouton. That Texas connection hooks up one more time. And a 1st down for the Rustlers.
Golden West has the ball, 1st and 10. From the Grossmont 38-yard line.
$20 yards on the strike there. And Mouton's 3rd grab of the game, 2nd one for 20 or more yards. He's now just a hair shy of 70 yards on through the air today, and we have some movement up front against the Rustlers.
Flag on the play, false start penalty called against Golden West.
And Rahshaun,
False start against the Rustlers, right?
are you just getting this feeling in this game that it feels, or it seems like both sides don't really have that much energy? They're just kind of going on the field, waiting for stuff to happen. We saw this a few weeks ago with Golden West, and it seems like it's happening again.
I thought it was me. Late night, early mornings party people. But nah, I think there's something to that. Kalbacher going to keep it himself. Kalbacher tries to get outside, but a nice open field tackle made by Lira, the corner, against Bo. And no gain there on the run. It's funny, down there on the field before the game, hearing some of the Grossmont coaches watch Bo warm up, and they're like, they're surprised by his size, and they realize how big he was just by watching the film. And they're saying, well, he can move a little bit, and he's comparing him to Big Ben and Carson Wentz and all these other guys. And they're kind of clowning some of their players for not watching film. Here's Kalbacher, and he just led Mouton a little bit too much on 2nd and long. 3rd down coming up.
And yet that right there is still a good throw. Yes, it overshoots Mouton for a second, but Mouton had his right hand squarely on that football. For Bo, he's still leading his receiver, and it wasn't something like you saw at the end of the first half where he wasn't leading his receiver. He threw it to a position where his guy just couldn't get to the football. In this case, he put it to an area where Mouton could lead himself into the football.
3rd and 15 here. Ball at the 43 of Grossmont. Pressure coming. Kalbacher steps up. Atencio in the seam, but he overshot him. And 4th down. And the punting unit will come on for Golden West. Kind of a weird game. Obviously, it's sophomore day, so you know there's going to be a little bit of energy here for Grossmont. I think they've done some things that wasn't really expected of them, and primarily apt in the passing game. And a low snap, Fisher able to get rid of it. It's a short kick, and it's going to take a Grossmont bounce back across the 30, and it'll be down there at the 31 by Retzlaff. So just a 12-yard net on that punt. Oh, boy.
And that's the problem with those rugby kicks. You don't really know what that bounce is going to look like, and you're hoping that with the side-winding action that it has going upfield, you're going to get the momentum taking the football forward. But sometimes if it hits that nose just right, it's going to take a wicked hop back against you.
When you combine that with Fisher being rushed and the bad snap that went to him. He's been really good at handling those throughout the course of the season, but a mulligan there. Here's App. Pressure on him, and he's going to eat it. 3 Rustlers get in there. VJ Malo, Meminger got in there as well, in addition to Baldwin Wilson. 3-man meeting at the quarterback. And it's a loss of 6 there for Apt and Grossmont. 2nd and 16 coming up from the 26-yard line. Apt looking on a fade and a nice catch. That's Stevens on this near sideline. And a 1st down right at the 45.
Reception.
19 yards on the pickup.
From their own 45-yard line.
It's a big-time throw, Ryan.
Yeah, and it's a beautiful one, too, because it was straight to the sideline, over the shoulder. The only person who could get to it was his wide receiver, and Golden West had no answer for it.
They go back to the ground, and that's Burnett. Gets across midfield for 6 and into Golden West territory.
Taka Kakulidis got in on the tackle.
Gain of 6 on the play. It'll be 2nd down and 4.
Ball at the Rustler 49-yard line. Apt with two backs. Shipman the third in there as the deep back. Apt looking to be changing the play. Now gets under center. Quickly outside and caught. Parker had a beat on it, but unable to get there, as it's going to be a first down for Grossmont once again. And that's Ernest Davis making that grab.
You look at that spot right there. I mean, the ball is right next to the stick, and yet they waved the first down over. It looked like he didn't actually get the first down, but earlier when Golden West is on 4th and 1, they don't take a look at it, don't wave it over, and he had clearly gotten across the line.
Interesting how that works. 1st and 10 from the Rustler 45. Play fake, Apt, looking, and incomplete.
Incomplete.
And there's going to be a flag thrown in. A flag comes in late. There was a big-time collision between Crawford and Linton. The pass was intended for Davis, Tenez Davis. Two Davises in the wide receiving corps. Tenez, the freshman out of Norfolk, Virginia, and then Ernest, the sophomore out of Virginia Beach, Virginia. Dave Garza looking over in our direction, calling a pass interference against the Rustlers.
First down, Grossmont.
Of course, if you're just joining us, if the Rustlers win, they're in. They secure a bowl berth.
10 for the Griffins at the
If not,
Golden West 30-yard line.
then at 5 and 5, they'd be in the hands of the committee. Of course, last year at 5 and 5, they would have gotten a bowl berth. But a lot to be
Penalty flag on the play.
sorted out between now and tomorrow when those pairings are announced. It's a false start charged against Grossmont. Of course, you factor in some of the postponed games as well, and there's a lot to get to. First and 15 from the Rustler 35-yard line. As you see Apt running in there from the sideline, delivering the play. 6'3" freshman, 195 pounds. Hailing from Houston, Texas. Burned his red shirt for the betterment of the team after a couple quarterbacks went down earlier in the year. Here's Apt on an option. He pitches. And Burnett gets past the original line of scrimmage and to the 28-yard line. 7 yards on the carry.
Gain of 6 on the play. It'll be 2nd down and 9.
You look at both sidelines. Earlier we talked about not seeing as much energy from both sides. There are a lot of just hands on hips, guys just watching the football game rather than communicating with those on the field.
Apt under center. Going to throw it up for Linton. And Linton incomplete.
Incomplete.
Grossmont fans want a pass interference. There's a lot of bumping and grinding over there with Linton and Crawford.
39 for the Griffins.
But no flag. So 3rd down coming up. They're calling it 3rd and 9 officially. So a 3rd and 9 right at the 29-yard line. The 20 is the line to gain for this Grossmont offense as we approach 4.5 to play here in this 3rd quarter. 3rd and 9 from the 30. A throwback and incomplete. Shipman the third was out there on a screen. They had a brigade of white jerseys in front of him, but that thing was blown up. VJ Malo got in there. That play went nowhere in a hurry. So enter the kicking unit. And Albertson,
46-yard field goal attempt.
longest of the season is 54. This one from 46. And blocked! Blocked by the Rustlers! Crawford kicked it out of bounds.
Blocked. Golden West will take over
And I couldn't tell if that was Coos Ford or JP, Justin Parker. I believe it was Ford that came in from the edge and laid out for that one. But the Rustlers will take over, first down and 10. And they spot the ball back at the 29-yard line. Whoa. They move it back to the 15.
Even if it were spot of the foul, that would.
And now they move it up to the 29. So we have offsetting penalties here. So we have unsportsmanlike conduct. All right, when the circus come to town.
So this is something that was similar to what happened early in the season at LA Valley, in which the officials, what they're doing is they're trying to actually march out the penalties that took place, going back and forth, making sure that they have it correct and they get the correct yardage.
He just marked off 4 penalties. I didn't see one flag. Channeling my inner varsity blues here. When the circus come to town. The great Coach Kilmer. My goodness. 4:27 left in this third quarter.
Rahshaun, you were talking about late nights, early mornings. Everyone had to make the drive out here.
Now the chains are moving.
They're on 28-yard line.
So the ball's at the 28, so that's actually a yard from the previous line of scrimmage for Grossmont. And the explanation will be nice. No microphones here for the officials. So we're on the fly, just like you at home. Here is the pass to Penn, incomplete. Coverage on the play by Piltoff. And 2nd and 10 coming up. I'm sure Ed Ford, if he's watching, got a good laugh at that. That is one of his favorite plays in all of community college football. And I mean the play before that incompletion, the pin, the 40 yards we just saw back and forth. The umpty. Quick pass, Atencio snags it up above his head. Pick up a 4. 3rd and 6 coming up for the Rustlers.
Rahshaun, there are 3 teams on the field, and one of them just hadn't gotten enough yardage today.
Yardage? I just thought they were trying to get their steps in. They say 10,000 is the goal for each day. Third and 6 at the 32. Call Bacher. Caught Ratzliff. First down across the 40-yard line. Down at the 44, 12-yard pickup. And Ben may be warming up here in this second half. Second grab, all have come in this half. 1st and 10 from the Rustler 44-yard line. Call Bacher, hands it off. Lewis stops, starts, no gain. Deshelle Johnson and also Blake Jarrell, the linebacker, in there on the stop. First carry of the game for Lewis. And he stays in there on 2nd and 10 from the 44. And false start charged against the Rustlers.
seemed like the first 12 minutes of this quarter went by so quickly. And now all of a sudden we're seeing things chop up between both of these two sides. I mean, Golden West kind of shooting themselves in the foot there with that penalty, but neither team has just been able to string things together in the second half.
Kalbacher, tight window. He fits it in there, though, at midfield, and it's Shashi Penn making the catch. Penn about 3 yards shy of the first down.
For the Rustlers.
So an 11-yard pickup there. And for Penn, it's his 5th catch of the day. 3rd and 4, they're calling it, right from midfield. Kalbacher goes back that way and incomplete. So back comes Fisher and the punting unit. Burnett back to receive this punt. He's standing on his own 10. Fisher, another rugby style kick. It's a low line driver and takes a Rustler bounce. And they're throwing the beanbags out. Did this touch a Griffin?
Golden West is saying that it hit off of Grossmont.
They threw the beanbags out. Normally the beanbags indicate some sort of a fumble. There's about 2 beanbags out there on the turf right now.
It'll be 1st and 10 for.
Instead they say Grossmont football. Normally whenever they throw those beanbags in there, that means there's some sort of a fumble.
Ball on their own 27-yard line.
Or a turnover or something of that sort. Instead it'd be 1st and 10 Grossmont from the 27-yard line. They go back to the ground. And that's Burnett. VJ Malo on the stop. Pickup of 3. I mean, Burnett's been relatively quiet here today. Just 41 yards on the ground. He got 136 last week against Saddleback. There is an injured Grossmont Griffin coming off. It's the big left guard, Terrence McClain, 6'7", 320-pound freshman out of Owen Mills, Maryland. It's a pass caught by Grossmont out to the 40-yard line. That was Frankel Alexis Jr. But there's a flag on the play. And it's going to be a chop block against Grossmont, so that'll move this one back.
Chop block penalty called against Grossmont.
.54 left in this 3rd quarter. While we have a moment, let's remind you, Golden West Rustler football right here on SportsNetUSA.net, brought to you in part by Miller Toyota of Anaheim, where service and parts is open 7 days a week for your convenience, located at the 91 and Euclid, and on the web at MillerToyotaofAnaheim.com. Miller Toyota of Anaheim supports community college sports and education. 2nd and 22 coming up. Burnett takes the carry. Burnett gets into the secondary and back towards the original line of scrimmage. It was Ramsey Al Sherman making the stop after the gain of 12 there for Burnett. 3rd and 10 coming up as we're under 15 seconds to play here in this 3rd quarter. Grossmont going to try to get a playoff here before the quarter expires. This is the last play of the quarter. App throws it up and incomplete.
Ball incomplete.
Cyrus Collins over there on the coverage.
Ladies and gentlemen, that's the
It
end
was
of the third
Alexis
quarter.
Jr., the intended
Grossmont
wide
14,
receiver, and that
Golden West
takes us
14.
to the end of the third. Had a scoreless first at 28.2 and a scoreless third as we head into the fourth here on SportsNetUSA.net. It's Golden West 14, Grossmont 14. Rahshaun, Haylock, Ryan Osborn here with you from America's finest city, sunny San Diego. This the third of 3 regular season trips scheduled for the Rustlers down here in the 619. Of course, the second straight trip for the Rustlers down here to San Diego County. They were near Chula Vista last week, a little bit further south from where we are right now, taking on Southwestern. And just a heck of a game. We were fortunate enough to bring to you right here on SportsNetUSA.net. Rustlers picking up the win and come from behind fashion. See a ton of umbrellas out here tonight. It's a sunny day. It's a pretty warm day out here in San Diego. So they switch sides of the field, I should say. Fourth down coming up for this Grossmont team, and Albertson going to come in to do the punting. David Atencio standing back on his own 40-yard line. See if David can get one he can handle here. Pressure coming, a low line drive kick. Atencio going to take it off a bounce, gets a running start. Atencio breaks the tackle at midfield. There goes David up the sideline. And out of bounds near the 30 of Grossmont. A nice return there by Atencio. Finally got something he can handle. And the former Edison product is able to get some good field position for the Rustlers to start this drive here to begin this fourth quarter. So 1st and 10 Golden West at the Griffin 30-yard line as Kalbacher brings the offense back onto the field.
SportsNetUSA.net scoring update. Fullerton 43, Mount Sac. Well, they're still kind of middling around right at that 23-point mark.
Kalbacher with one wide receiver. Or one back, pardon me, 4 wide receivers. It goes to Tavon Valdez. And a pickup of 3 for Tavon up to the 27-yard line. Got to get some points here, Ryan Osborn. Got to get some points. If you're John Shipp calling plays, if you're Bo Kalbacher orchestrating this offense here for the Rustlers. Ball spotted at the 26-yard line. So actually a gain of 4 there for Tavon. 2nd down and 6. Ball at the Griffin 26. Back to Tavon. Up the gut. And nothing doing. Johnson got there to him first and pulls him backwards. It's going to be a gain of maybe a yard.
Number 17, Michelle Johnson.
Tavon inching closer towards a 100-yard game on the ground today.
3rd down, Golden West.
San Francisco and College of San Mateo. That one is canceled, and it's going to be rescheduled as well.
Here's Kalbacher. Over the middle, Mouton had it, lost it, picked off.
Ball intercepted.
Derek Sutherland with the INT for Grossmont. The safety picks it off. And another turnover deep inside Grossmont zone for the Rustlers this afternoon. And for Sutherland, that's his 6th INT of the season. He is a ball hawk.
And if you're Golden West, I mean, this is one that it's not even on Bo. That throw was right on the money. It just goes right off his hands. You can't have one hit your hands that directly and have it pop right over top of you and into the awaiting arms of a defender.
And Braylon knows he's got to make that catch. He's got to make that catch. Now 1st and 10, Grossmont at their own 20. They go to the ground. Burnett breaks one tackle. Rain's holding on for dear life, and Coos comes and finishes him off.
Number 3, Burnett.
Hard run there by Burnett. It only goes for 2. He's got an injured player on the field.
Injured player on the field.
It's an injured Rustler. Can't see from here who it is. Next week, will the Rustlers be bowling, or will we be on vacation, Ryan Osborn?
Question is, will the Rustlers be bowling, or will they be bowling?
See what you did there. I see what you did there. Well, whichever one requires actual football being played, that's the one that I'm going to vote for. We'll have the opportunity to work with you one more time on this season and to be able to bring all of you at home more Rustler football. A win today, and the Rustlers pretty much guaranteed a bowl berth. So a couple of technicalities that could go against them. It doesn't look that way. I was talking to Coach Mitchell before the game, and the way the rankings are, with a win today, they should not drop in the rankings, and so they should definitely be in. A loss, and they're in the hands of the committee. You don't want that. That's Coos Ford, the injured Rustler. Ford with an interception earlier today. Had one last week too, one that clinched it against Southwestern. And good to see Coos up and jogging off the field under his own power. 13 minutes left in this 4th quarter, and it's a 2nd down and 7 for Grossmont. Ball at the 23-yard line. Play fake. Apt over the middle. Caught. And that's Summers breaking the tackle and pushed out of bounds near midfield. There's a couple of flags on the play. Apt has looked impressive. I know I've said it a number of times.
Well, it's true, Rahshaun. I mean, he has looked like one of the best quarterbacks in the conference that we have seen this season.
You look at the numbers, you don't expect to see this.
He's got poise. He's been able to have great field vision. And as soon as that rushing attack comes in and haunts him, he has still been able to just extend plays as much as possible and make smart decisions while extending those plays. Because oftentimes what you'll see is these guys who have those types of stats that he did coming into this game, you see them normally, okay, when I get pressured, I'm trying to extend the play. They fumble, they throw it. They force themselves into a bad throw a pick, or maybe end up losing the football altogether. But in this case, he has been terrific when avoiding the rush.
Grossmont in the Rustler territory. 1st and 10 from the Rustler 48-yard line. The ball's out again, and they blew that one maybe a hair too early. Aldapa recovers that fumble. Oh, look at Apt and Aldapa getting into it. And the fiery quarterback has some words for Aldapa. He has to be restrained. Wow. Look at that. And Aldapa just cool, calm, and collected, not even paying the quarterback any mind.
2nd down and 9 for Grossmont.
2nd and 9. Apt rolling. Apt off his back foot and nearly picked off.
Ball incomplete. Penalty flag on the play.
Now, how sweet.
Flag on the play. Aldapa nearly had the final word on that one. But I'm afraid this flag may go against the Rustlers.
Looks like we may have a late hit after that one was released. I mean, Valdapa makes that catch. It would have been one of the sweetest plays that we have seen, especially after that little one-sided shoving match, but it would have been wiped out anyways.
I love Valdapa with the child plays. Child plays.
Have the ball, 1st and 10 from the Golden West 32-yard line.
So no INT. Instead, it's going to be a 15-yard penalty. 1st and 10 from the 32. They give it to Burnett off the right side, and Burnett runs into a wall of green, picks up 1. And there's another injured Grossmont player on the field.
Injury timeout.
Another injured lineman. So on the defensive side of the ball, they've already lost Bryson Collins. We saw him leave the game earlier, and he was walking around without his pads on here on this near sideline in front of us. Earlier, they lost the left guard, Terrence McClain, and this looks like the left tackle, Jay Williams, a sophomore out of Moreno Valley, down on the turf right now. And it is big 6'6", 290-pounder. I'll tell you, that left side of their offensive line. Whew. Not following those guys in the buffet.
Well, Mark Pavlovich and I, the voice of Fullerton College football, we were watching the East Mississippi football game about halfway through the season, and then we were so impressed by their offensive line that we went back and looked at their roster. It's almost identical to what you see from that left side of the offensive line for Grossmont. They average around 6'4" and nearly 300 pounds each.
East Mississippi, of course, from the
Second out of 9.
was it Second Chance U? That's the name of the show, East Mississippi.
They were the original team.
The original team, right? And Burnett was actually never down on that play, but the officials blew the whistle down. Miminger underneath that pile, credited with the tackle. Looks like he's a little shaken up. He's going to run off. Williams, meanwhile, going to go to the injury tent here for Grossmont. Able to walk under his own strength. Interesting thing is his cohort, Terrence McClain, came out to help him off the field. McClain had yet to return to the ball game, and as I say that now, he puts on his helmet, and he's back onto the field for this drive for Grossmont. Is the penalty going to go against the Griffins? So 2nd and 15 for Grossmont. Ball is spotted at the Rustler 36-yard line. 11 minutes left. 4th quarter action here from San Diego. App, 3-step drop. And Coos Ford was all over that one. He read it, but almost got burnt. Thankfully for him, it was thrown a little bit too high for the intended target, Ernest Davis. A little bit too tall, a little bit behind Davis. Coos was all over that one. Good to see Coos back into the game. He left earlier in this drive. 10:56 left. 4th quarter. 14-14 our score here from Grossmont High School. Apt with one back on 3rd and 15. Apt looking, throwing, pass caught by Summers. Dives for that 1st down marker. They're going to mark him just short, though. The tackle made over there by Cyrus Collins. So on 3rd and 14, 3rd and 15, I beg your pardon, they get 14. And Summers having himself a day. He's now over 100 yards with that last reception. And so 4th and 1, they elect to go for it. Apt hands it off. Burnett climbs over the right side, picks up the 1st down and more as he gets 3 up to the 20-yard line. Approaching 10 to play here in this 4th quarter. turnover battle even. Each team with 2 apiece. But Grossmont working on a Golden West turnover right now. And here goes Burnett. Most room he's had all afternoon. Oh, he fumbled it. It stays in bounds. It stays in. Retzlaff picks it up. Oh, but he was out of bounds when he did so.
When Retzlaff picks up that football, his right foot is touching the sideline, and that is what is going to give the football back to Grossmont. It's a tough break for Golden West because that football just crawled and stayed in bounds. It was there like a Thanksgiving turkey, just waiting for Golden West to pick that up. But it was just that foot on the line, and the reason why it's out of bounds is not only because that foot is on the line, but because his foot hits the line first, and then he picks up the football. If he picks up the football first and then the line, then it's Golden West ball.
And we have a false start against Grossmont. That 16-yard run there ties the longest of the afternoon for Burnett. That's his second fumble today. He lost the other one. Remember, he fumbled earlier on this drive, but the officials blew the play dead prior to the ball coming out, they said. That one, like a Thanksgiving turkey, I mean, on a platter. You kidding me? And Retzlaff, and we saw the play last week on a kickoff. If you're out of bounds and you take it, the penalty goes for you because you fielded out of bounds. Meanwhile, here's Burnett, and he's tripped up in the backfield. Nice pursuit there off that edge by Raines.
It's just the intricacies of football.
And Retzlaff's got to be careful. He got all in the face of the official that time. Of course, he's heated and thinks he recovered that fumble, but he was out of bounds. So a 2nd and goal from the 12. Full house backfield and more movement. Another false start and another flag late. This one coming from the white hat.
That one's going to be on Apt as he went jawing back and forth on that far side. Looked like he was talking to Justin Parker there.
False start against Grossmont. Dead ball, personal foul against Grossmont.
Dead ball, foul, personal foul called against Grossmont.
Am I not mistaken in saying that's 20 yards?
It should be. Yeah. 31-yard line. 2nd and goal from the 31. Apps losing it. He's got to be careful. You like the fieriness from your quarterback, but not to the point where it's costing you here. 2nd and goal from the 31. App, they set up a screen pass caught. Shipman the 3rd. Lowers his shoulder at the 20. Ball's out. David Aldapa took that football away.
And they do award it to Golden West.
Rustler football. All of a sudden, the game green has become a bunch of ball hawks on this Saturday afternoon. So maybe Aldapa does get the final word. Remember, he and App are going back and forth.
You also got to love the support by the Golden West sideline, parents, fans, family, friends, everyone who has drove out here to support the Golden West Rustlers. Voicing their pleasure with that sideline, making sure they stay in this game.
1st and 10 from the 20. Tavon Valdez hitting the backfield. Taken down for a loss. Sola, the linebacker, they're one of the leaders of this defensive unit. They say he's an old school guy. Not going to see him celebrate much, not much of a vocal guy, but he just plays, just gets the job done week in and week out. Loss of 1 there for Tavon. Second and 11 from the 19. Kalbacher changing the play. Bo looking for Earl. Rustlers want a flag. Wow. There was clearly contact there with Earl and Lyra the corner.
Third down 11 for the Rustlers.
Interesting. 3rd and 11 from the 19. Just under 8 to play here in this 4th quarter. Callbacher delivering, looking for Earl, and incomplete. Lyra was draped all over him. 4th down coming up, and the Rustlers are going to have to punt this one away. So Fisher will punt it away. Lyra will go back to receive this one. He's going to watch it bounce in front of him. It takes a Rustler roll, keeps rolling. And going to be downed at the 35 there by Kramer.
Penalty flag on the play.
There was a flag on the play. Back towards the, behind the line of scrimmage. Illegal hands to the face against Grossmont.
Grossmont.
Neither team has scored since late in the first half.
Grossmont have the ball 1st and 10.
We're tied 14 apiece.
20-yard line.
Grossmont has turned the ball over 3 times, the Rustlers twice. $7:42 left in this 4th quarter. 1st and 10, Grossmont from their own 20-yard line. Apt, play fake. Apt, sacked! VJ Malo.
Quarterback sack by number 45, VJ Malo.
Huge loss on the play.
Rahshaun,
2nd and 18 coming up.
you look at this Rustler defense over the last 2 series for Grossmont. Every time that the Rustlers needed a big play, they've looked to those linebacking core.
Apt on the draw. And he gives it to his back,
And off to
Burnett.
number 3, Burnett.
Four yards on the game.
It'll be 3rd and 13 for the Griffins. Gain of 5 on the play.
3rd and 13 coming up. Ball at the Griffin 18-yard line. Apt quickly throws it out. And it go double pass and broken up. Kramer breaks it up.
Penalty flag
But there's a
on the
flag
play.
that comes in late after the throw.
It might be a late hit on that throw that you were talking about.
If he's a runner, it can't be roughing the passer, right?
You're right. The only other thing I can think of is maybe Kramer arriving early, but it seemed like he was there as soon as the ball got there.
Coos Ford was there in the vicinity. And a legal forward pass. So this one against the Griffins. Loss of down. And so 4th down coming up.
So I guess that first one had to be a forward pass.
So that was Tenez Davis there making the throw for Grossmont. Ford immediately had his hands up as if to say, what did I do? Which led me to believe that perhaps this may have gone against him as we saw Davis hit the turf. But it was an illegal forward pass, so that's an automatic loss of down, so a 4th down here.
20 for Grossmont.
6 minutes 30 seconds left in this one. We're all knotted at 14 apiece. And Albertson will be punting from his own end zone. Rugby-style kick and nearly blocked. Atencio watches this one go out of bounds. Actually fielded it on a hop there. Right about the 43-yard line. Don't forget, Golden West Rustler football right here on SportsNetUSA.net, brought to you in part by Miller Toyota of Anaheim. Used car deals, new car deals, all kinds of deals and specials all year long. Hit up the fine folks over at Miller Toyota of Anaheim, located off the 91 and Euclid, and on the web at MillerToyotaofAnaheim.com. Miller Toyota of Anaheim supports community college sports and education. Kalbacher sets up a screen. Swain a spin. Dante Swain crawling towards the sticks. Picks up 9. A 2nd and 1 coming up.
We may see a situation between these two squads like we did last week, where if Golden West ends up going down and getting a late touchdown, they're just going to have to rely on their defense the entire way through and hope that they can hang on, which they have done here in this fourth quarter.
2nd and 1 from the 34. Right up the gut is Swain. And let's see if they give him the forward progress. Swain thrown to the turf late, bounced up, took some exception to that.
First down for
But it is going to be a first down, so Dante picks up the yard needed there. And move those sticks for the Rustlers as we're nearing 5.5 to play. Kalbacher says, tell Swain, stay where you are. And they got to burn a timeout here. A lot of movement, some miscommunication there. So 5:17 left in this one. Rustlers going to call a timeout. Their first charge timeout of this half. They'll have 2 remaining. Ryan Osborn here with you. Joined by yours truly, Rahshaun Haylock, down in sunny San Diego. Picturesque Grossmont High School. As the Griffins playing their home games, most of them at least, here in the 2018 campaign. Been a rough year for them. But this place through the years has been somewhat of a house of horrors for the Rustlers. Not necessarily this place, Grossmont High School. Rustlers haven't played here, but as far as playing this Grossmont team down in San Diego, they played them here last year. Well in command in the first half, and things all of a sudden got spooky in that second half. Grossmont with the come from behind win. Rustlers led by 17 in that first half. Here we are knotted up. Rustlers trying to make things happen. Atencio, they're going to throw it. A double pass looking for Swain. He gets under it and catches it at the 16-yard line.
number 26, Swain. It'll be 1st and 10 for Golden West.
18-yard pickup. Atencio making the throw.
And you look at that throw by Atencio, it's on the mark, but if only that throw is just a little bit more flat out there.
Could have ran with it.
Swain had a lot of green.
You see John Shipp going to the bag of tricks here. 4:40 to play. 1st and 10 from the Grossmont 16. Swain holds on to it. I think Bo wanted to pull that one out. They continue to push the pile. They give Swain that forward progress to the 14-yard line. 2-yard pickup. 2nd and 8 coming up. The Rustlers are chewing up some clock here.
Gain of 3 on the play. It'll be 2nd and 7 for the Rustlers.
2nd down and 7, they're calling it officially. 4 wide receivers, Swain the deep back. Callbacher pumps, rolling, looking back of the end zone, and well out of the reach of the intended target, Penn.
3rd down and 7 for Golden West.
Just ran out of real estate there. 3rd and 7 coming up. Rustlers trying to get that 6th win to earn a bowl berth here in 2018. Missed out last season. Finishing the year 4-6. Trying to get to 6-4 here today. 3rd and 7. Callbacher, pressure from his back, and he goes down. That's Sola. He gets after the quarterback, and he does so there. A big sack by the Grossmont linebacker. Freshman out of Morris High School. Loss of 2, and enter Orlando to attempt the field goal. This one going to be from 33. Grossmont blocked one earlier today. Pressure coming. Orlando gets it away, and it's good. So with 3:01 left, the Rustlers take a 17-14 lead on a 33-yard field goal from Jose Orlando. Been scoreless for well over 20 minutes here at Ryan Osborn. Actually, a lot longer than that.
Now the entire weight of the bowl berth rests on the shoulders of what this defense can do.
Yeah, I think if you're Nick Mitchell and company, you'll take that. You'll take needing to get a stop. This team has shown numerous times throughout this season to be able to come up with big stops when needed. We've been scoreless for well over a half hour of game time here in this one. Rustlers finally break the drought. Here's a squib kick, and taken by one of the upmen on a hop. And Rustlers try to rip that ball out. Ryan Raines unsuccessfully, however. Gotta love the big fella, Zach Clement. Showing some nice hands on that one, Ryan Osborn.
And the way that he scooped it up, I mean, you look at a lot of shortstops in Major League Baseball who wouldn't get their body in front of it as much as he did.
2:56 to play. Grossmont takes over 1st and 10 from their own 40-yard line, down by 3. Rustler defense on the field needing a stop. App throws it, and oh, nearly picked off. Nearly picked off. VJ Malo goes down to the turf. He got his paws on it. JP needs to console him, as that one nearly went south quickly for Grossmont. Rustler defense almost forcing another turnover here this afternoon.
And if you're VJ Malo, you can't allow that to get back into your head. You have to make sure that you keep that same intensity. Keep your hands up every time that Apt tries to release it.
Apt, short drop and incomplete. I tell you what, man, that's tough luck. Summers has been money all afternoon, and he drops that one there. Brings up a 3rd down. Third and 10, Grossmont from their own 40-yard line. Rustler defense with 3 takeaways already on the afternoon. One here. It get closer to clinching this thing. Apt over the middle. And Raines pulled up there.
Ball incomplete. It'll be 4th down.
Incomplete. The intended receiver was Tenez Davis. And 4th down and 10 for Grossmont. And looks like Michael Jordan's going to send the special teams onto the field. And they'll try to punt this one away with 2:42 left. Grossmont has all 3 of its timeouts remaining.
If you're Golden West, you may want to protect against one of those trick plays because we've seen Grossmont go to it once before, and they have tried a fake punt earlier this season. It came 2 weeks ago.
High snap. It goes over the head of the punter. Tries to get his footing and gets away. Quite a kick under the circumstances. What a tremendous effort there by Albertson. Wow. Kicks this one away all the way back to the 33-yard line of Golden West.
Golden West have the ball, 1st and 10. Their own 33-yard line.
Only going to go down is about 27 on the net, but I mean, he had to go all the way back to about the 20 to get that one away. We've seen both these punters doing some pretty good things trying to get rid of the football.
Well, we saw a 64-yarder from him earlier, and Fisher had himself nearly a 53-yarder earlier.
Callbacher to Atencio. Stays on his feet, and Atencio close to the 1st down marker. Gets 9 there. The line to gain was the 43-yard line.
Timeout on the field.
2nd and 1 coming up. Timeout taken by Grossmont.
9 on the play. It'll be 2nd down and 1 for Golden West.
I think everybody in the building thought it would be some sort of a run. Well, that play right there, just as good as a run. As Atencio makes the grab, he's now over 100 yards receiving here today. That was his 10th catch. That's 103 yards through the airs. He and Callbacher began hooking up early and often this afternoon. Grossmont playing for pride, playing for their sophomores, playing with heavy hearts all season long. It's one of the titans of this program, Dave Jordan, passing away earlier this season. As Swain gets the carry, and he gets no gain. Jordan, of course, the father of head coach Michael Jordan. Michael Jordan, formerly a ball boy for Grossmont when his dad was the head coach here. So this is a program that's been through a lot this season. It's a Rustler team trying to get back to a bowl. Bowlless last season, trying to get there this season. Grossmont with 1 timeout left. Rustlers have a 3rd and 1 coming up.
Talking about Coach Jordan, I mean, when he was a ball boy here during the '74 season, Grossmont won a national championship with Joe Roth at the helm.
Yeah, one of the finest to ever come through here, Joe Roth. Of course, later down the line, Akili Smith came through here as well, former Oregon Cincinnati Bengal quarterback. Here's a 3rd down play, 3rd and 1 from the 42. They give it to the short man, and it looks like a 1st down up to the 45-yard line. They gave it to the fullback, and that was Malo getting the carry. VJ Malo.
What you really love about that one is that Wolf Retzlaff was in the backfield, and immediately Malo gets stuck at the line of scrimmage. He was going to be stopped behind that yardstick, but Wolf Retzlaff comes right behind him and just rams him in past the pile and allows him to pick up those extra 2.
So we've seen Retzlaff carry it. We've seen Malo now carry it now. That gives the Rustlers a fresh set of downs. It'll be a 1st down and 10, Golden West at their own 45-yard line. There's an injury timeout for Grossmont. And it looks like that is the talented safety, Sutherland. If you go to the Grossmont College football website, it's a great article about Sutherland and also Ronye Stevens going to a local hospital and providing some Grossmont gear to a cancer patient there. Tremendous right up there, and just goes to kind of the acts of service. Sometimes we hear about them, sometimes we don't, but these young men have good hearts. They try to do their best on and off the field. As Swain gets the carry there, goes for no gain on 1st down. That last time I was an injury timeout for Sutherland. This is a timeout against Grossmont, so that's their final timeout of the game.
Timeout for the Griffins.
2nd and 10 coming up for the Rustlers. And 1:18 left in this one. And you gotta imagine, play the time game, even if the Rustlers don't get a 1st down here, barring the unforeseen, not sure how Grossmont will be able to have an opportunity to do much here. Of course, we've seen stranger things happen last weekend.
You just got to make sure that that snap gets off the floor.
Amen, brother. Second and 10 for the Rustlers. Kalbacher out of the gun. Swain gets the carry, tries to find the edge. Dante covering up that ball. Penalty flag on the play for back at the 40-yard line. It's going to be a pickup of 4 if it stands, but it's got a holding against the Rustlers.
Now it's an interesting decision for Grossmont because the clock wound down either way. Now the question is, do you want to pin them back yardage-wise, or do you want to allow the down to have happened and just make it 3rd down and 10 rather than 2nd down and 20? And of course, as I say that, Grossmont decides to decline it, and it's going to be 3rd down and 10. Anything you can do to just try and get that clock to stay on your side. And considering that it was still about 10 yards to go, they'll take it.
So 3rd down and 6 for the Rustlers. They give it to Valdez. Tries to bounce it outside. Tavon stays on his feet, but it's going to be taken down for no gain.
No gain on the play. It'll be 4th down.
So 4th down coming up here for the Rustlers. So they're going to allow this time to run. Interesting thing here, because we're at a high school, there are no play clocks. Oh, there's 3 seconds left on the play clock. Oh, I've been looking for that thing all afternoon. Are you kidding me?
There's one over to our left and one to our right.
That's unreal. I have not seen it all afternoon. So the timeout comes. Rustlers take the timeout. 24 seconds left on the game clock. That is unreal.
It's that knowledge of the barbecue that's happening north that got to you, man.
I like barbecue. So 24 1/10 left.
We have a couple of quick scores from around the SCFA. Pasadena City College has taken a 1-point lead over Santa Barbara at 15-14 with 5:59 left to go in the fourth quarter there. And here on SportsNetUSA.net, it's 43-23 Fullerton at last check in the fourth quarter.
This is a low snap, and Fisher, nice kick, gets it away to Lear. He bobbles it. It's recovered by the Rustlers. Recovered by the Rustlers.
Recovered by Golden West.
Jonathan Earl recovering the fumble, and that's going to do it. 16 seconds left in this one, and all Bo has to do is take a knee. The Rustlers going to go bowling here in 2018. Bacher from the 18-yard line takes a snap, takes a knee, and that's going to be that, Ryan Osborn. Lyra, heart just broken here.
Ladies and gentlemen, that's the end of the game.
But that is the final sound. Golden West advancing to its first bowl game since 2015 as they knock off Grossmont here, 17-14. Here from Grossmont High School. As we bring in linebackers coach Chris Reff. Coach, congratulations.
Thanks, man.
That one got a little scary there.
Seems like they're all like that now, huh? You need to start opening it up a little bit.
Man, you're giving it to us up here, but that's all right. Long as we end up on the good side of these things.
Yep, that's all that matters.
Defensively, you guys gave up a couple in that first half, second half, another shutout here. How are you able to turn it around?
The guys just tightened down. I think the bus ride again, just kind of getting down here so early for us. We had meetings at 9 o'clock this morning or 8 o'clock this morning, so these guys have been up for a while, didn't get the best night's sleep, college kids. So, but
adults too.
I think they got it dialed in by halftime. So they just got us on a couple of plays there.
You come in here today, such an emotional win last week. It seemed like throughout today, both teams looked a little bit flat, though. How are you guys able to guard against that?
We talked about it a little bit last week at the end of the game. There was the Ohio State-Penn State game last year where both teams had a great game, and then both teams came out and lost the next week. So we were trying to really just focus on one game at a time, forget about last week, forget about anything that happens after this. All we can do is prepare for these guys.
As you're going bowling now.
Yep, there we go.
First time this program is going to the postseason since 2015. I know that's been a talk around the program. Your early reactions to that?
Man, we're excited. We're just excited to get another week, get some more film for these guys. Big game for them. Should be a good, highly scouted game. So hopefully we can get a few guys some big scholarships off of this.
Awesome. Appreciate you for stopping.
Thank you, man.
Chris Redfern, linebackers coach here for Golden West. Rustlers going bowling. Thank you, Coach. We'll step aside. 17-14 our final here from Grossmont High School. You're watching Golden West Rustler football right here on SportsNetUSA.net. Welcome back to Grossmont High School. For the first time since 2015, the Rustlers are back in the postseason as they knock off Grossmont College here 17-14 on the strength of a Jose Arredondo 33-yard field goal in the fourth quarter. Rahshaun, Haylock, Ryan Osborn here with you. Ryan, we heard from Chris Redfern, the linebackers coach here for the Rustlers. Trying to guard against just that emotional high from last week. I think we all kind of felt the effects of it, even up here in the broadcast booth, though, too. Positives, right? The shutout in the second half, and just the moxie to have that drive. You don't get in the end zone, but Jose Arredondo, big-time kick by Arredondo to cinch this one.
Well, you look at it all afternoon for the defense. They finished 3 out of 4 quarters scoreless. Yes, they gave up 14 in that second, but they did their job all afternoon. And the thing is, we were talking about those takeaways for Golden West. They haven't been able to do that well prior to these last 2 weeks. Now, all of a sudden, against Southwestern, against Grossmont, they're able to get takeaways, and it's really just allowed them to not only chew up clock and also take possession away, but when you look at Grossmont and Southwestern, how they acted after each one of those takeaways, you saw them start to hang their heads. They stopped going back to their offensive mindset that Grossmont had earlier in this one. When you look at the Southwestern game last week, Southwestern decided to switch up their entire offense after one of the turnovers that they had and takeaways for Golden West. Grossmont this afternoon, after multiple takeaways, Golden West was able to force Grossmont to go away from throwing the ball down the field. And when he did that, he got out of sync with his receivers, and Grossmont just wasn't able to move the ball upfield.
Yeah, the Rustlers, 4 takeaways today in this one. Just a tremendous effort by this Golden West Rustler football team with those 4 takeaways. And you mentioned it, we hadn't seen much of it prior to, these last couple of weeks. This team, you look at the numbers coming into today, interceptions, just 4 on the year, intern today, tied for 5th in the Southern League, 3rd in fumble recoveries with 10. We've seen some high takeaway totals from Nick Mitchell's defenses in years past, but that's never necessarily been what he preaches with his team. His teams have been about. It have been more or less just about containing, about getting stops. Of course, you want to force those turnovers, but it never necessarily been a staple of Mitchell's defenses, with the exception of a few outliers. This year, no exception, but these last couple of weeks, Ryan, as you mentioned, huge takeaway totals. Bo Kalbacher, big effort today, 29 of 38 in the passing game, 251 yards and a touchdown. He also had 2 interceptions. One of those, of course, is not his fault at all. David Atencio, the high man, with 10 catches for 103 yards. And Tavon Valdez nearly got to that 100-yard rushing mark. He finished with 89 on the day for 13 carries. Apt, what a performance by him. He finishes with 239 passing yards. He was phenomenal all game, much better than advertised. And you got to tip your hat to this Grossmont College football team. They've been through a lot this season. Of course, our thoughts and prayers are with Coach Jordan as he continues to, deal with the loss of his father and this program, dealing with the loss of such an icon, such an important piece of this program. With the Rustlers, of course, they win it. They're going to the postseason. We'll be doing some more football, Ryan Osborn.
Yes, sir.
Awesome. So that's going to do it for here from Grossmont High School. Of course, a special thank you to all of you out there for watching and listening today. Also, special thanks to our man Chad, who helped us get up here today. Gave us we needed a ride up to the press box, Ryan Osborn. We were carrying, a lot of stuff, and so he was so gracious with his time. Be remiss if we didn't say hello to Mrs. Mitch. Didn't normally get to her during game time, but did not do that today. We want to say hello, Mrs. Mitch. Miss Mitch, we're going bowling. We're going bowling. Hope to see you. If not, I know you'll be watching. Appreciate all of your support of us here on SportsNetUSA.net. Special thanks to all the folks right here at Grossmont College for accommodating us and making things so wonderful for us. Of course, the SID at this fine program, Samantha Siders, been in contact with her throughout the week. Thanks to her for helping us out as well, and also Miss Buddy here at Golden West for getting us all set up and field passes and all that. Ed Ford is our operations manager at sportsnetusa.net, and so for all of us, I'm Rahshaun Haylock from my partner Ryan Osborn. Thank you so much for watching. Rustlers going bowling. Stay tuned to sportsnetusa.net for info on next week's game, time, and whether it be audio stream or a video stream. Of course, we'll have it for you right here on sportsnetusa.net. Rustlers win it 17-14. Good afternoon from San Diego. You've been watching Golden West Rustler football right here on sportsnetusa.net. Rustlers going bowling.